Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Sports and Fitness with Zeke. I'm Zeke, sometimes known as Mike Zielinski. I'm honored today to have as my guest Jim Sutton. Welcome, Jim.
Well,
Jim is an amazing guy. He's 85 years young. He has set a whole ton of indoor and outdoor masters and American world records in distance running, ranging from the mile, well, it's mostly middle distance. He has an amazing background. He's been doing this for years, still running, still going strong. He's trained with some Olympic and world champions. You won 3 cross-country championships at Exeter High School back in the 70s. And so how do you keep going? Do you have rubber knees or what, you know?
no, I just, the motivation came like when I was about 48 years of age. I looked at myself and said, hey, you got to do something about this, because I was a bit overweight, believe it or not.
I can't believe that.
So I started to do some running. And,
so even though you were coaching cross country, you weren't running.
Yeah. So I started to run, and I ran maybe I think I made it a half mile the first night, and then I started to increase the load as I went along. And I started to feel a lot better about myself, and I had a lot more energy than I ever had before. So I thought, well, you know, this is paying off. So that's how I got started in this running bit. I was always physically fit, but not, you know,
right,
to the extreme.
What do you think? You know, because obviously a lot of people, you know, get tired of being a little heavy and they start working out, but you've taken it above and beyond to the nth degree. What has fueled your passion, your drive to keep doing this for decades?
I just know that a healthy lifestyle is so critical for, you know, living. Each and every day when I get up every day, I have a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And I burn it off. I start burning it off at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I go out running. I generally run at Blue Marsh Lake on the trails, and I'll go anywhere from 4 to 6 miles. Then I'll go and into the gym, Body Zone, and I work out about 2 to 3 hours in the Body Zone. And
every day?
Every day. I do it 7 days a week. And so I feel
You're
good.
addicted?
I'm addicted. I am.
How have you, you know, because you're not just someone jogging slowly. I mean, you're a middle distance runner when you're competing. Which means you're doing some speed work, you're training hard. How do you keep your knees, your ankles, and your feet intact?
Yeah. Well, I think a helpful hint for anyone who wants to go into running or do any, you know, hard training, I think the most important thing is to run on a soft surface. So I've been always running on soft surfaces.
You're not running on the street?
Not on the streets, yeah, or the macadam or the cement. I'll be down at No-Leaf Forest or out at Blue Marsh or on Grings Mill trails, you know, always on trails. And I think that's what preserved my knees all these years.
Wow. Now, you set your last indoor world record when you were 75. You were doing some track work then too? Because obviously, yeah. Do you still do track?
I do track work maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Were you at Wilson High School? Or?
I generally do them out at
Body Zone?
No, out at the lake. There's a sandy trail out there, and I usually run on the sandy trail at an area where it has a slight decline. So that makes when I do the speed work, my legs go a little bit faster. And when you
I had read that. That's good to get your acceleration.
So yeah. And it's a motivating factor, because you look at your time then and say, wow.
Well, I guess another motivating factor with all this energy that you burn off and calories you burn up, you probably can eat anything.
Well, I do watch my diet. Actually, I shouldn't say I watch my diet.
Your wife watches?
My wife watches my diet.
Your wife is pretty tough on you. You have a story to share with us, because you were an avid biker for years and years and years, but I understand that has recently ended. Do you want to recount a synopsized version of that story?
I had a crash on a bicycle.
How recently was this?
This is about a year and a half ago, and I hit 2 poles and a car, and I only had a broken arm, but I spent 2 days in the hospital. But my wife saw me right after the accident, maybe an hour or 2 after the accident. But on the way we thought to the hospital. My wife said, "You bring me home. You bring him home first of all, and then I'll make sure he takes a shower before he goes to the hospital."
The last thing you felt like doing at that time with a
That's
broken
right.
arm. But I guess it reminds me of like my mother used to say, make sure that you have clean underpants on in case you're in an accident. So that's amazing. So what are you running more now that you're not biking?
Yes, I'm running all the time.
Are you still competing for world records?
Yes, I am.
How many people are left in your category? What are you,
There are
85 and over? Or?
Yeah, I'm 85 to 89 age group, and there are very few, and all my buddies from the past have disappeared completely from the scene.
Yeah.
So as a result, there are very few people I can run against.
Yeah. So you're setting world records by default now?
You can.
There was a lady years ago, I don't know if you remember, her name was Anna Bauscher.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and she was a swimmer. And she lived to a very, very long age, and she was the same thing. She was setting records, and sometimes there was nobody else in the race with her because everybody else was gone. But you have some interesting stories. For some reason, there for a while, there were a lot of world-class runners training in Berks County. I think part of that was there was a distance runner, Rod Dixon, who lived in Flying Hills. And I think he won the New York Marathon one year, back when Americans won our marathons. And John Walker, who was he was a very famous mile champion back when they did the mile. Now everything is, 1,500 meters. But he was the world record holder, a big strapping guy. And Sebastian Coe, who was another world champion, Olympic champion, middle distance runner. You were training with them. How was that experience?
Well, I always caught them at the end of generally at the end of their workouts. But
Smart.
Sebastian Coe I met at the Crown Plaza, which is now the Plaza.
Yeah.
Crown Plaza. In early morning, I told my boss at school that I had to...
you were a teacher for many years.
I was a teacher. I had to take him to the airport, but I didn't have to take him to the airport. I had to take him out on a run. So we ran down to Grings Mill for approximately eight miles. And during that run, all he wanted to talk about was that that was the point when we had the atomic energy scare up in Harrisburg.
Oh, TMI.
Yeah. And as a result, England was really excited about it. The English were very excited about this, and he was very excited about that. So most of the run dealt with me telling him about how I felt about if I worried about that sort of thing. But, and near the end of the run, he said to me, "Boy, are we flying." And I'm saying to myself, no, we can't be flying. But I went into that run as a race. I thought this
was Coe or Walker?
This is Coe.
Coe, okay.
And that summer, he won the Olympics in Los Angeles in the 1,500 meters.
Wow.
And set a world's record. So, but I caught him right after he had a liver problem with his liver. He had, so he was just coming back from running, and this was about March. And then, of course, by the summertime, he was in great shape.
Yeah. Tell us the John Walker story.
John Walker story. Well, John Walker was a pretty big guy, and it was a snowy day. Maybe we got about 8 or 9 inches, and I was sitting over at the school, and I thought, well, I know he's in town, and he's at Stanko's house, so Ron Stanko. So I said, I'll go call Ron and see if John wants to go for a run. And he did want to go for a run, so we went out and started this run, which is probably about 6 or 7 miles. And we started up a hill, a very, very steep hill. And going up the hill, John was all over the place. And being I was used to running in the snow, I had no difficulty going up this hill, but John just couldn't handle it. And which was good, because John broke the 4-minute mile more than anyone else ever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah. He was quite a runner. And we got on top of the hill, and we were going to, I said, well, we ought to take a right here, because we want to get down towards Reading and then come along the Schuylkill River and then back up through Flying Hills Golf Course. And on the way, he said, I must go in the fields. And I said, well, okay, you go in the fields, and I will keep on you know, I'll go slow down the road. But as soon as he stopped, he turned his back, he was looping across the field, I took off. And I ran as fast as I possibly can. And by the time he caught me down about the rehabilitation hospital, which was about maybe 3/4 of a mile, he had to catch up to me. And he did, no problem at all. But he was so mad when he got up to me. We hit a downhill and then we came up through the golf course, and again we hit some hills, but John was very, very unhappy with me that day.
Hey, I tell you, and you know, and I know you still windsurf. You do that down to
Yes.
shore. You're an amazing guy. And, you know, I'm just looking at your resume here, and we only have a minute or two left. But you've done so many. You were a sprinter in the early days.
I started out as a sprinter in
You
in
ran
high
a
school.
9-800 yard dash back in the day.
Yes.
And you did a
on
12-10
cinder track.
Wow. And you did a 12-10 pole vault.
I was a pole vaulter.
And those poles were what? Steel?
No, I had a bamboo pole.
Oh, okay. Oh, they predate.
Billy Allen, he used to go to Central years ago. He went to Villanova. He got me a pole over in Hoboken, New Jersey, at a plant over there. They brought all the bamboo poles in, and Villanova had bought all these poles, and there was one small one, so he brought it up and gave it to me, and I used it right through high school and college.
I didn't know. And you went to school where?
Central.
No, college.
Syracuse.
Syracuse. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Well, keep run. You know, when you're 170 and you're still running, we'll have you back. But anyway, Jim Sutton, an amazing guy. Congratulations, and stay young. I don't have to tell you that, you know.
I'll work on it.
All right. Hey, for now, this is Zeke saying goodbye again. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to the People Chronicles channel on YouTube.
These community stories are made possible in part by BCTV, Susie Ray Design, Queen City Family Restaurant, Lamar Advertising, Heidelberg Family Restaurant, Reading Air, Lions and Hole, Peanut Bar, and Kutztown University.